Hello, everyone. We're live.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to our community call. Um, Today we have very special guest for you. We are so excited. We're thrilled to present this special guest because she has so much to share with you guys. So today we present you composer and pianist and also NFT artist Cristina Spinei. She's joining us from Nashville. Hello, Cristina.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for being with us.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
today our your host will be me, Anna Bulkina, Francesco
Hello,
Comito,
everyone.
Antonio Comito.
Hi guys. Yeah.
So while you are joining us, write in the comments where you're joining us from. I will start to introduce, like fully introduce you, our guests today. So Cristina is multifaceted artist. She is a pianist. She is a composer. So she also works with the ballet. I think you mentioned in one interview that you were trained as ballerina, right?
I took ballet lessons for a long time when I was a kid. Yeah, I was very
Yeah.
curious about it.
So that's how your connection with ballet, that's where it comes from, right?
Yeah, I always loved dance.
Okay, so Christina is also was graduated with the Bachelor and Master of Music degree from the Juilliard School, and where she studied with the Pulitzer Prize winning composer Christopher Roos. So her first album, Music for Dance, was released on the label Tecate Classics and made its debut in 2016. And it contains work of that blossomed from her collaboration with choreographers and was characterized by critic Dean Frey as having a quote-unquote strong lyrical streak with an open folk-like feeling and dollop of pop. So, in addition to her own records, Christina's music appears on the debut album of Trio Celeste, as well as on San Michel Strings album Adagio, a record nominated for Latin Grammy Award. So, also Christina's last album, I think, right? Ex Voto. She turned completely this album as an NFT. That correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Antonia, I think, was itching to ask your the first question.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. I'm very grateful to have you today and here at Le Salon de la Musique, our community call that is our space in which we discuss about innovation, disruptive topics like, as I said, innovation, entrepreneurship, and so on and so on. Let's say here at Le Salon de la Musique, we released a lot of informative content about NFTs, blockchain, immersive technologies, interactive holographics technologies, etc. But now that we have really a pioneer, a visionary artist that really could integrate NFTs with classical music and music in general, let's ask her personal opinion then. Can you, first of all, describe the basics about NFTs?
Yeah, sure. So an NFT just simply stands for non-fungible token, and that means a unique item that can't be transferred. So an NFT can be any digital item. It can be music, it can be a document, it can be a poem, a book, anything that's stored on the blockchain. So that's my basic definition of an NFT. I think people, when they're getting into it, they spend a lot of time trying to get into the nitty-gritty of the technology and how exactly the blockchain works, and they want to know everything about it. And maybe they're scared off as a musician, as a classical musician, by all of the intricacies of technology. I find it fascinating, but I don't think every tiny little aspect is necessary to understand in order to be able to release NFTs and to be able to appreciate the capacity for change that they have for the classical music world. But it's an item, and it lives on the blockchain, and you know, our whole lives are kind of spent online or in a screen in some way. So I think it's a lot simpler than people realize.
And I'm very curious, really, how did you first become interested in NFT? How did you know about this amazing technology? You know, I think what is the most innovative way to express intellectual property today. Then let's talk about your personal experience.
It is. I first read about the blockchain in 2016. I was getting the physical newspaper to my house, and I would always cut out articles that I thought were interesting and put them like in a binder of ideas for, I don't know, for whatever. Very old school, but I love it. So I got the Wall Street Journal, and I read about blockchain, and I cut out the article and put it aside and thought, wow, this is really cool. I need to keep up with this. And then I got busy with my first album and everything else, and I kind of let it slip. You know, I didn't keep up to date with it. And then fast forward a few years, it's 2020 during the pandemic, and my husband had been very much into cryptocurrencies over those past few years. And in 2020, he decided to release an NFT.
Wow.
Kind of fooling around, like a digital art that he made. He's like, yeah, let's try this. And I'm like, what is this? What is it that you're doing? And he explained it a little bit to me, and I was hooked. He released something on a platform called Rarible, which back then was very big. It's an open platform. And I just, for days, did a deep dive, and I looked at all of the art on Rarible. The platform Super Rare is very big, was big back then too. Nifty Gateway. I think those were the main three that I explored the summer of 2020. And I thought, this is exactly what I've been looking for my entire career.
Wow.
The ability for an artist to just kind of tell their story and release their own work without having the approval from these higher
middleman. Exactly. No middleman at all. Yeah.
So that's what got me into it, and I've been deep into it since then, since the summer of 2020.
Yeah, even now, not so many people, not so many musicians turn their recordings or even their compositions to NFT. There are a lot of visual artists that do that, and for a long time already, like relatively long time, like for the few years already, right? But there are not so many musicians that even know about this opportunity. Okay, you're a composer, they can say, oh yeah, but she creates something of her own, so she can it's a creation, so she puts it in an NFT. What about the recording, like of Mozart or Beethoven? Can I turn it to NFT? So can you talk a little bit of somebody else's music?
Sure. I think if the music is in the public domain, which Beethoven and Mozart and Bach, of course, are, it's your own interpretation. You can turn it into an NFT. One of the wonderful things about it is, if you interpret a Bach piece and put it on YouTube, you get slapped with these, this isn't you performing, you have to take it down and everything like that. There's none of that in the Web3 world. It's your performance. It's certified by your wallet address as being yours. You own it. You performed it. I mean, we circumvent so many of these problems that musicians have.
Exactly. Finally, guys, listen to this. This is holy truth. This is the solution to all your troubles about copyright strikes. Okay.
Exactly. So, Cristina, can you please say to us, is NFT a solution for musicians that are publishing their music on Facebook, on YouTube, and they find for no reason their music down? I mean, do you think that is a solution?
I think so. It is. It's not. Okay, so there are many different steps and many different platforms that you can utilize that are tools for you as a musician in Web3. It's not the easiest thing. I can't just upload something and say, here it is, guys, buy my work, I'm here. You have to do some research and build a community and kind of build a following, and you have to be in it for the right reasons. I think that's why a lot of these famous celebrity NFT drops haven't been successful, because they just come into Web3 and say, I'm here, here's my NFT, buy it. And people are like, no, that's a cash grab. It doesn't make any sense. Are you going to be here in 2 years? Are you going to be here in 5 years? Or are you just doing this to make money right now? But for musicians who are self-starting, kind of have like an entrepreneurial spirit and want to experiment with technology, and if you put your things out on YouTube and Facebook anyway, this is a fantastic solution, because what you're doing while you're putting your work on these different platforms that are centralized, like Instagram and Facebook, you put your work out there and you don't control who sees it. You don't know who your audience is. If you buy ads, you still don't know who your audience is. You don't own any of that information. So the platform retains all of that information, and you are kind of at the behest of the platform. If Instagram goes down, what are you going to do? Like, it goes down, and it's these centralized platforms that you have no control. So there are some Web3 social protocols that are popping up. One I'm on is called Lens, where everyone signs in with their wallet. You know exactly who your followers are. You could contact each one of them at any point, and you can take that content. You could take your followers from protocol to protocol, from platform to platform. So you own your social graph. You own who your followers are, who your community is. And that, to me, is the biggest advantage for artists, musicians, for anybody, is that data, that knowledge of who you're releasing your content to.
What do you think about this, Cristina, about the future of decentralized social media? Because, we know that technology can fully express its potential if there is a combination with mass adoption.
Yeah.
I think this point is crucial. What do you think about the forecasting of decentralized protocol in social media, in the social media kingdom in general?
I think it's going to grow, absolutely. Right now, like the one I'm on, Lens, is still in beta, but they have over 100,000 users. I mean, it's grown. It's been out for 5 or 6 months. It's tiny. It's like a baby in the world of social media.
Yeah.
But it's growing really quickly. And there are other ones called CISO and a bunch of others popping up. And it's awareness. People have to be aware of these things. You have to investigate a little bit what you're getting into. Of course, I always say safety is number one priority when you're in Web3. Double check your sources, your links, just to make sure that you're clicking on the correct things and you're not getting scammed and everything. That's also a separate probably topic, very important. And yeah, awareness, like we said, a lot of musicians, a lot of classical musicians don't even know about NFTs. And I think part of the problem is they're still reading traditional media. They're still reading like traditional newspapers, reviews, and art sections. And I'm going to tell you, those writers, they want nothing to do with NFTs, nothing to do with Web3. They won't cover it. So if that's where you're getting your information, then you're kind of at a loss.
Yeah, Cristina, what you said before, you said a very important word. You said musicians, they had an entrepreneurial spirit. The most important word here is the spirit. If you don't have the will to discover things, if you don't question what you've been taught, there is no book that can help you. There is no video tutorial that can help you. Nobody can help you. The first thing that you have to do is start to question what you've been taught. Start to read, as you said, Cristina. All musicians, many musicians, they get information from traditional media, and they don't want to know anything about NFT. They don't want to know anything about emails. I mean, I know some friends, they don't like emails. Yeah, they stay practicing, and that's it. And the world is going forward to the future, and we still
like
think that practicing or maybe some competition will save our life. It's not like that. What you say is the spirit is the most important thing. For example, you, when did you understand that? I mean, that in NFTs you can find, I mean, something new, like a new world. It's like.
And do you think that if your husband wouldn't be interested in crypto, you would run to NFT anyways?
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I said, it was the answer to what I've been looking for. For composers, you have to follow a very traditional path to get, I don't know the word, acceptance or whatever. So I went to school, I did my master's, and I could have gone on to get my doctorate and my PhD and then teach at a university. And I thought, well, this just kind of keeps everything in this cycle, in this bubble. And I don't want to be in this bubble. I want to get out. There's so much more than the world of academia. And I don't want it. For me, it's not right that I stay in a university and just have my music performed in universities and I try to win prizes and all these things. It's not for me. For other people, it's great. But for me, it doesn't work. So that's why I started working with choreographers and independent artists, because it gave me a way to own my own career. I didn't have to win a competition to be able to have my music performed. I didn't have to have a prize or anything like this. I always wanted to be in charge of my own career. And so this was the perfect way for me to do it.
I think personally, and I strongly believe that an artist can be an artist if he or she is free. You have to claim your agency. If you don't have the ownership of your career, in my personal opinion, you cannot be an artist.
But even on Facebook, on YouTube or Instagram, you are not owner of your career, because if they decide that your music, I mean, for any reason, should be banned, or you say some political thing that is not, I mean, accepted, or whatever you want, you are not completely free. They can shut down your Instagram, your Twitter in one beat. And after what you lose 20 years of working, 10 years of working on social media like this in a second. So,
but you're talking about the copyright.
Yeah.
They are even blocking some some reels that we create. Then when we use the music from the Instagram library, they ban it, and they say it's like under the copyright violation. And I was like, what? We just took it from your own library. How it's possible?
Cristina, there is a few days ago, I think one of our followers and friend from the Salon is a composer. He posted a screenshot where Facebook or Instagram, I don't remember, deleted one of his compositions.
Oh, they do it to me too. Yeah, they do it to me too. It's like Warner Music. It goes out to everybody.
It's madness. Totally, it's madness. Madness.
We need to answer this question from our followers. So Alex Brusnikin is asking, how do you see the future of NFTs evolving in the next 5 years, and how do you plan to stay at the forefront of this technology? So yeah, we kind of offer this solution for right now, against those copyright bots, that you can guys make an NFT of your recording, and so it will be protected from those attacks. But will it be sustainable substitution for Instagram and Twitter and the Facebook? What do you think?
I think so. I think when people realize that they don't have to be dependent on these platforms, they'll start to migrate away from it. I mean, now I'm hardly on Facebook. It's ridiculous. I'm hardly on Instagram. I'm spending all my time on these Web3 social platforms, and also on Twitter, which is kind of funny that Web3 lives on Twitter, but it does. That's where it is for the most part, Twitter and Discord. But I think in 5 years, it'll be adopted by far more many people, maybe not classical musicians, but I mean, musicians of other genres are really kind of finding their own success and making their own way. And like I was saying before, the technology changes so quickly that things that I released 2 years ago are so much easier to release now. So I can only imagine in 5 years how much smoother the interface is going to be for artists who want to upload their work. Even now, as an artist, you don't have to be on a platform to create an NFT. You can create your own contract through platforms called Manifold, and there are a few other ones. It just changes so rapidly. I can't even imagine where it's going to be in 5 years. But I love experimenting with all of these different platforms that pop up. There's one called Async that allows musicians to release, and artists, visual artists, to release work in layers that have interchangeable stems. There are all these cool things pushing not only technology forward, but pushing the art form forward. Things I wouldn't be able to do if musicians just performed it live on stage. So I'm looking forward to what those kind of advances for art as well.
But Cristina, can you please tell to our musician friend, is it something difficult to create an NFT? Is it difficult, complicated, terribly complicated process to create an NFT? How to do it? I mean, I knew that you have to have a digital wallet, cryptocurrencies, and so maybe they are afraid. I know them. I understand them.
Maybe we can do a little walkthrough.
Like step by step.
Yeah, I don't think it's that much different than creating an account on Venmo or a PayPal account. You're creating an account. And I think people know how to do this. It's number one step, like I said, is make sure you're clicking the correct links. Make sure if you're opening up a wallet that it is the correct wallet. So I use MetaMask for my wallet. There are also other ones. There's Rainbow. There are a bunch of others. But what I do to verify that I'm clicking on the correct one, sometimes I just go to Twitter just to make sure that it's the very correct link, and I go and click on it and set everything up. So to set up your wallet, I had my dad do it. He did it, so it's easy. I used MetaMask. I opened up a MetaMask account. You can input your bank info, and you get your own unique digital wallet identification. It's a string of letters and numbers. It starts from 0x, and that's your unique ID. If you want to have your name, like mine is CristinaSpinei.eth, you can purchase a .eth name from ENS, and these are Ethereum domains. So it's a lot easier than me telling you 0x61 whatever my number is. Just CristinaSpinei.eth, that's my wallet. And if you wanted to mint your NFT, you have a few different options. You can decide to mint it through a platform. There are many different platforms. A lot for music NFTs, way more than 3 years ago when I started. There's sound.xyz, which is a closed platform. You have to be accepted or apply. There's Async, which I talked about, which allows musicians to release music in layers and with different variations. There's something really cool called Arpeggi, where you can actually compose music on the blockchain. You can use their library of sounds and just compose something and mint it as an NFT, and people can buy it. There are just so many platforms. Catalog Works is another great only music NFT platform. So these that I just spoke about. Audios, no? Excuse me?
Also audios, no?
Audios, they say they're a Web3 player. You can't really release NFTs on them. They're just like SoundCloud, but they reward people using tokens. It's not to sell. It's more streaming. Yeah, it's more.
Okay.
So with these closed and open music platforms, it's just the audio you release, and if you have an album art to put with it, just as you would upload to Spotify or any other DSP, it's the same process. You just upload it as you would, WAV file preferably, but I guess if you wanted to do that, you could, and you mint it, and it costs a little fee to mint, and those fees to mint something are called gas fees.
Gas fee.
Yeah, you have to make sure that you have a little bit of ETH in your wallet. if you're releasing on the Ethereum chain, if you're releasing on Polygon, then you have to have a little Matic in your wallet. And you mint something, and just, you know, double, triple, quadruple check that everything is correct, because once it's minted, it can't be edited. It's on the blockchain.
Yeah.
It's forever, unless you burn it, you know. So, you know, you just check a little bit more than you would if you were uploading something from SoundCloud or Spotify.
Can you delete something you've created if you found some like error that you don't want to be there? Can you delete it and re-upload it again?
You could burn it. You could always burn.
Okay.
There's still a record of it having been minted.
Yeah.
I want to say something to our dear friends that are listening to us. If you have any question about this crazy thing we are talking today, send us a message. Send a message to me, to Antonia, to Anna, to Cristina. Very easy. We are always here. Send a message. I didn't understand anything about NFT. I'm curious. I would like, can you recommend me some material? Write a message, okay? And we will talk. We will have for sure another chat also with Cristina in the future. So, I mean, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Everything is easier than you think. Cristina, I would like to ask you.
Oh, just a second. We have another question.
Another question.
How do you balance the technical aspect of creating NFTs with the creative process of making music and art? So, as a classical musician, you know, that a technical aspect can be, you know, very maybe frightening. You know, some people, they would say, oh, it's so complicated. I just don't want to think about it. I am an artist. I create art.
I think if anything, it's made me more creative, because I don't have these barriers of genre to worry about when I'm releasing something. I don't have to worry about which playlist my music is going to get on. I don't have to worry about any of these little boxes that we have now as artists that we think about, maybe not even consciously, maybe subconsciously. Because when I'm releasing my work, it's for the public. It's not for a streaming platform with a set standard of like which music gets picked for their playlist. I'm not thinking about those things. So in a way, it's kind of opened up my creativity and encouraged me, allowed me to release anything I want without the barrier of genre, without the barrier of this is what a contemporary classical piece should sound like. None of that exists. There's no, if you search on some of these music sites, these music NFT sites, it's not categorized by genre. It's just the music. It's just the artist and the music, and you kind of have to tell your story as an artist. It's more about who you are, what is the work that you're releasing, why are you releasing it, why should we listen to it? You know, people want to know about you and the music. It's not so much, does it fit into this genre? Will it fit into this playlist? There's not any of that. Maybe that'll come later as it develops. But right now, it just kind of opens up the world of possibilities to musicians, I think.
Really, it's so impressive what you said in this moment, because I think it's the purest essence of what art is. It's something without boundaries, without, you know, categories or labels. This is the real meaning of art. And I'm very curious about, because you told about also public. This is my question. How your fans and your audience responded to your NFT project at the beginning?
So it's funny. There are a lot of studies about this. There's a great research platform in Musique, and Sherry, who leads it up, and she does studies about fans for musicians releasing NFTs. And we found, for me, for other musicians, that there's hardly any crossover from my normal audience, my Web2 audience, into my Web3 audience. So the people that I found in Web3 have been entirely new. It's an audience that I didn't know before. It's people who are into tech that maybe played music before when they were little and just love it. It's people who are really interested in music and they don't care what genre it is, and they just want new music. And it's, I don't know, it's people who are just interested in the new technology, and it's a completely new audience for me. Nobody to my face has said anything negative about what I'm doing with NFTs. Like nobody from Web2. I don't, maybe behind my back there, but I haven't had any negative feedback. Only my negative feedback has been when I've reached out to reviewers and people who write music, like write opinions about classical music. When I've tried to tell them what's going on, I had one reviewer say, "Just please stop contacting me about this. I'm not interested." So that's the only thing. It was respectful. He said it very respectfully, but still, that was the only thing.
Can I ask you? I have a question. What is the benefit for, first of all, for a musician? Why should I create an NFT? Why should I do it? Just for copyright reason, or maybe I can use this token to make money, or maybe I can transform my Prelude and Fugue into a coin, or maybe I can give this NFT to my fans and give them some benefit. For example, participate. You can owning this NFT, you will have, for example, free live access to my concerts. Maybe if you own this NFT, and maybe if I, for example, I become super famous, that NFT will, the value of that NFT will be, a lot of money. So you can exchange this NFT. You can sell it. You can buy it. Can you talk about this thing? Because maybe some friends here, musicians, they still didn't understand what is an NFT and why should they create it, or why somebody should buy it.
We know what an NFT is, but maybe our friends don't know about the different use cases that we can have and leverage with, this amazing technology. We can use, we can give, as Francesco said, the different benefits related to the NFTs, or we can, use NFT as, let's say, normal collectibles. There are many different use cases. Let's talk about a little bit about this.
Yeah, all of those options are really wonderful for musicians to use. So you can, the major benefit is that it's a certified copy, it's a certified item of that artist. So when it goes on the blockchain, I'm saying, this is my music, I wrote it, I recorded it, it's genuine, it's mine. Nobody can forge it, nobody can kind of copy my work and put it out with their wallet address. It's mine, it belongs to me. So that's one, the historical aspect of it, the provenance of the piece is forever immortalized on the blockchain. And then there's a big talk in the art world, in the music world, about utility of an NFT. Does it have to have utility? Can it have utility? So these things like, if somebody bought my album on catalog, my ex voto, I released one track. It was a one of one, so it's not an edition. There are a difference between one of ones and editions. Editions can be multiple copies of the same thing. So if somebody bought my one of one, whenever I perform that piece live, they always have a ticket to it. They're always invited to a concert when I perform that piece. Now the collectors are all over the world, and if it happens, that would be amazing. And if it doesn't, it's just an open invite. So it can act as a ticket. The NFT can act as a ticket also to future performances of that work or of any other work. You could also create these things called POAPs, P-O-A-P-S, and it's kind of like digital proof that you were somewhere or you attended something. So now we have this talk. If we had a POAP for this, just a little graphic that people could download on their digital wallet, they would have it in their wallet that says, I attended this community call, and here's proof of it. Proof of an attendance protocol is what it stands for.
This is very interesting.
Those are fun little things.
We should do it too, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we should do it too. It's a good idea. I like it.
Cristina, for example, somebody might say, for example, let's say I release one of Etude by Chopin, okay, and I transform my Etude by Chopin in an NFT. Somebody might say, but there are so many recordings. And now you can have everything for free online. I can download this digital audio from YouTube. There are your videos, or maybe I don't know what. Why should I pay for this? Where is the benefit in owning? It's like, guys, for example, let's say I go to a concert of Vladimir Horowitz. Let's say let's say I'm lucky enough to go back in the past and go to Carnegie. Time machine. Carnegie Hall concert Rachmaninoff 3. And they make one recording, and they make, for example, 10 recordings, 10 NFTs of that recording, and I own one of them. It's very cool. I mean,
yeah, and with the time it will become, more and more expensive.
Can you imagine you own the recording of, or for example, a piece of the recording of that Rachmaninoff third concerto, Zubin Mehta and Vladimir Horowitz, and like owning the Mona Lisa. Come on, it's incredible.
Part of Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
Only the lips.
You could fractionalize work. Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things that differentiates Web3 platform from, say, Bandcamp. If I buy an album on Bandcamp, yes, I'm supporting the musician directly. But once I purchase that digital album, I can't do anything with it. I can't sell it if I wanted to. There's no marketplace for it. It's just there. So if I purchase something on Catalog or Sound, it's in my wallet. People can bid on it. You don't necessarily have to put something for sale. People leave items in a wallet, and they can bid on something that you just have sitting there in your wallet, which is kind of cool. And it's not all about, selling this and holding it for the highest price, because in 20 years it might blow up. Like, that would be cool too. But it's viewing music as fine art. We're kind of of gallery, how galleries worked with artists, and that music has value, and people want to purchase it, and it represents a moment in time and an artist's viewpoint. And right now it's not oversaturated. I think, what did I read? Like 100,000 tracks are uploaded to Spotify every single day. How can you keep track of everything? But with music NFTs, it's very thoughtful. There aren't a lot of people in it right now, and what they're releasing is very thoughtful, and it focuses on music as art and fine art, and it's collectible, I think, and people want to be a part of it.
How important is the community? You are talking about, for example, the NFTs. I create this NFT, but maybe this NFT has no value and it will stay there forever. How important is the community? You were talking before about this. There are many musicians, they don't even post a video. They don't know how to record a video. They don't work on social media. How important is?
It's so important. The community of it, discovering people who want to listen to your work, who want to collect your work, who want to invest in your future as an artist, is so important. And you have to be a little savvy to know how these things work. I don't think in this day a musician can just ignore all of these technologies that we have for our advantage. I mean, maybe a few people can. I don't know. But if you want to live like that, fine. But there's no need to. We have this ability to connect with the world. And it does take time to build a community, and it does take time for people to know who you are. And I've seen people get disappointed. They release something and it doesn't do as well as they had hoped or thought it would. It took me a few months to sell my first NFT. I released it in December of 2020, and I think it sold in June or July, somewhere, in the summer. So it took a few months, and it was fine. It was just, I knew it probably wouldn't be sold immediately, and I was trying out this new tech. But you really have to grow the community part alongside with your artistic development too.
But I don't have time. I have kids. I don't know how it works. Today is raining. Tomorrow I don't know. Guys, please stop with this. You have no idea how many every day I listen to this thing. It's crazy, guys. Come on,
just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a very famous slogan.
Yeah. how do the visual elements enhance the music of your NFTs? Yeah, so I think some of our followers went to your website and they enjoyed the music along with the visual part of the NFT. So are you collaborating with visual artists? And if you, yeah, of course you are. And so how this collaboration started, and how do you choose the artists to collaborate with? And could you talk a little bit about this?
Yeah, I think when I first started, I was collaborating more with visual artists because it seemed like the easiest way for me to enter into the Web3 world was to collaborate with people. I'm used to collaborating with choreographers, and it felt like a natural progression to work with someone else and put sound with movement or sound with art. For me, it's very familiar. So I'm like, okay, this is great. So I just looked at tons of different platforms, and I looked at tons of different artists, and I found artists whose aesthetic I thought complemented mine. And I just reached out to a few people and I said, I'm a composer. Would you be interested in working with me and releasing an audio-visual piece? Because also, if you think about it, before Web3, before these platforms, where is there a marketplace for audio-visual work? It's kind of a new thing. Like, okay, maybe you put it on Instagram, but you can't sell it. You could put it on Facebook, but nobody could collect it. It's just there, My train. So I don't know if you could hear that. So
and anybody can copy it, right, and own it.
Yeah.
You
so
own
it also
it.
opened up this new medium for me that I could create these audio-visual works. And so it was just a lot of research. The same thing that I do when I reach out to choreographers. I look online and see videos and kind of go into their shows and see if we would be a good fit. And then I just reach out to people. And the collaboration is back and forth, a few different emails going back and forth about what the topic is, what the aesthetic is, how long the piece should be, things like that. And it was always fun to work with visual artists. I really enjoy it. But for things like just the music NFTs, like the album art, a lot of that I did with AI, and some were photos that I had. So it depends. For every platform, it's kind of different.
Yeah. This is, I think, this is very interesting because let's say it's this kind of hybridization of different arts can be used to channel very deep and profound meaning. I think we can find a real sense of human expression, hybridizing arts, in my opinion, hybridizing arts through technology. This is really something that I really love and in which I'm really in. Hybridizing, for example, immersive technologies with the use of different arts, visuals, or for example, music, narratives. I mean, there is a lot of potential, a lot of potential. Also with hybridizing ballet, visuals, ballet, choreography, music. Really, there is something to do. I cannot understand how we can remain stuck in the same old version of ourselves. It's so, I think, it's crucial to evolve. It's crucial to understand, to explore, to dive in different, world. I think it's a moral duty as an artist, no?
I think so too. And I don't know. I think part of it is our training as classical musicians. We are always looking in the past, and we get very blinders on of what the right thing to do is, and it's so strange because historically, composers have pushed the technology, conductors have pushed technology. We have the CD in part thanks to Carry On, who was instrumental in the technology. And there are some people who try to push us forward, but I think just the ethos of the classical world is maybe fear or apathy, or I don't know, because for me, it's not working well. So I try to look for other solutions. I don't know how it's worked so well for all these other people, but for me, I needed to try something different, you know?
Yeah.
I was wondering, so we were talking about how you run into this idea to put your music into NFT and, to collaborate with other artists. Those are positive things. I want to ask you about some negative aspect of it. If you had any challenges or, moments of, doubts, maybe a lot of our listeners would first want to know what is difficult about it, because the way you talk about it, sounds so easy, so simple, but then maybe there are some hidden obstacles.
Any
Yeah,
number
one is just safety. Like I said, that's priority. Do your research. Make sure what you're clicking on is legitimate, because there are scam artists. Whatever we have in the real world, we're going to have online. So of course, there are going to be scams and things that aren't on the up and up. So you have to be careful with stuff like this. You have to be careful what links you have to be careful of transactions that you approve of. You have to make sure that everything is correct. And that takes a little bit of time to get used to at first, I think. But once you get used to it, hopefully it becomes like a good habit, a good routine to have. So that, I stress, number one, safety. Make sure everything that you do is correct. Beware of links and messages like DMs from strangers offering this, that, and the other. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. It's just common sense type of thing. Another thing is, it takes a little time to research, but I think it's fascinating. I think it's worth it. And, everyone has more time than they think. That's my thing. And, it takes time to build a community also. I'm always on Twitter. I'm always in Twitter spaces. I'm always, doing these kind of things to learn everything I can about the space, to become involved as I can. So that part is time consuming, but for me, it's worth it and it makes sense. I don't know if everybody would be.
But how do you find the time? For example, you say I stay always here on Twitter trying to understand. First of all, I want to ask you, how much do you read every day? Is it important to read?
Inform yourself.
It's like, for example, going to gym. It's important to take care of your body. It's important to take care of your brain. Is it important to think about your future? I mean, as a musician, we've been to concerts and the public is getting older and older and older. What is going to happen in the future? We need to, I would say, reinvent ourselves as a musician. You personally, Cristina, how do you find the time to be always updated? I mean, with the technology that is changing every day. Do you read every day? Tell us about.
I do. Yeah. So I have, while I eat breakfast, I have my iPad out and I subscribe to different newsletters, really good newsletters out there. And so I go through my newsletters in the morning. And with my coffee, and I start with my newsletters, and so there's that, and then I'll go do some composing, or I'm editing my whole catalog to be able to put it on the blockchain. So I'll go do that kind of garbage work that just takes, it's not garbage work, but it takes a long time and it's tedious. So while I'm doing the tedious task of like editing my music, I'll listen to Twitter Spaces and kind of, I used to listen to a lot more music. Now I listen to a lot of Twitter Spaces. But when I'm doing mundane things like that, I'll always have a Twitter Spaces on to see what's going on. And then I have lunch, I read more, and before I go to bed, I read more. I'm always trying to keep up with what's going on, because for me, like I said, it's fascinating, it's so interesting. And I try to find similar interesting things going on in the arts, like in the live performance world. And I don't know, not as compelling for me.
Yeah, so you get some, like, it's like your source of inspiration also, right? Can you
Yeah.
describe it as that, right?
Yeah, it is, because I mean, I hear these projects that other artists are doing and other musicians are doing, and I'm like, wow, these people have these great ideas, and you could also collaborate. I mean, it's a very open world right now, it seems like, and people are very interested in collaborating. And so you can basically reach out to anybody and introduce yourself and say, I really love your work. I think we should work together. And everyone is super friendly. And if they have the time, because that's another thing, a lot of artists are really busy. But, a lot of musicians in the space want to collaborate across genre. Genre doesn't matter. It's just,
I agree so much. Exactly. Oh, guys, this is a great example of how collaboration works. Then collaboration instead of competition. I think this is the first rule to learn. Exactly. Exactly.
So we have another question from Alex.
Alex is like
Alex is
a
really
factory of questions.
we can say that he's really into NFT. Yeah, it's our how to say, like, long-term fan that is following us, like, almost from the very beginning, and sometimes ask questions, sometimes not, but today he's really like very, very curious. Okay, so what advice would you give to other classical musicians who are interested in incorporating NFTs into their own work?
Well, I think it's important to find the other classical musicians who are in the space already. There are like 20 of us, probably. There aren't so many. Yeah. Reach out and start to get to know the community. I think that's an important thing, is to start to get to know people who are releasing work in the space. That's number one. And then, release something on Polygon, release something on a chain that doesn't have a huge gas fee, just to try it out, to see what it's like to release an NFT. And, we don't have the audience right now where you can say, come to my concert. Most people that go to a classical music concert probably don't have digital wallets on their phone. I don't know. They might, but
most likely
probably not. Yeah. But start thinking of these things. Start thinking of ways. Maybe there's a show poster that you could offer an NFT, and try to get people who maybe are also interested in visual art, and to get them interested in your music that way. Try it out. Just do it. I say just do it. You might as well try. There's no downside of trying it out.
And can I ask you, Cristina, a different question, more related to your creative process? Can you describe your creative process, where you find inspiration, which are your sources of inspiration, describe your style, how you are expressing yourself as a composer. If you have to describe yourself as a composer, which term will you use?
So I use the word minimalish. Not quite minimalist, but like, a flavor of it. I think I've been very influenced by my work with dancers and choreographers. And I always have movement in the back of my head. I'm always thinking about physical movement, of the piece, but also, is the work going to move somebody emotionally? I want there to be something. I want people to latch on to something in a way. Whether that's the rhythm and it makes them move in a way, or whether it's the melody. For me, melody and like ostinato and rhythm is very important in my work. If I can't hum it, I don't like it, pretty much. So I think all these years working with different dance companies kind of just seeped into what I do, and it's kind of stretched my music out. It's made it a little bit more minimalist, because music for dance, movement takes a while to unfold, and so they need that music to travel with them. So my music has become a little bit more minimalist in that way, but I still love focusing on melody. My favorite music when I was a kid was opera. It was Italian opera. I know it's weird, but It was. So I think that early exposure to such beautiful long melodies kind of ingrained into how I write. And so, yeah, those are the two driving forces of my work.
This is fantastic. Do you have any project, any, I don't know, news about your, I don't know, some of your upcoming project or upcoming drops, NFT drops? Tell us more about your future activity.
I just released a new piano solo on sound.xyz. It's a Web3 platform. I was actually the first classical musician to release something there. So that was kind of cool. It was unexpected that they reached out to me. I wasn't thinking that they would. It was a nice surprise. So I have that piano solo. There are 25 editions and there are 10 left, I believe, 9 or 10 left of that piece. And then I'm working on a piece now for Async Art, the platform with music and layers, and it's going to be for piano, 2 pianos and synthesizer. So that's my current project. I'll record hopefully in a few weeks. I'm pretty much finished writing it. I just need to get the synth part down and then go into the studio.
Cristina, can I ask you about what do you think about the AI? Do you think that as a composer, I mean, it's possible to cooperate with AI to create?
Have you ever tried IVA technology or something like this?
For music, I haven't. Well, actually, do you know the composer Holly Herndon?
Say it again.
Her voice.
You
Holly
were like,
no.
She used Herndon, HERNDON. She has this website you could go to. It's crazy, where you can input any MP3 and say it's for piano. It comes out in her voice. It's so cool. It's really, really cool. So she uses AI in that process. I've played around with that a little bit. That's as far as my music and AI tech has gone. But I've used visuals for score covers for my website. Most of those I did with AI. So, I think we can integrate it. It's a tool for us to use. I think we could integrate it into what we do. Again, there's a human interest in an artist thing that can't be replaced completely by AI. I think always grab a story. I'm not worried about AI replacing composers. Maybe I should be. I don't know. But I think it's something that we can use, just as a tool.
If you have time, find this IVA technology. It's very, very, very impressive how it works. And also, then you are not scared about AI. You're forecasting about it is a future of collaboration between human beings and machines. I think personally that creative works will have an increase in demand.
Absolutely, Antonia. I would like just to add something. When we say I'm not afraid about AI because I'm a musician, I'm a composer, and a human cannot be replaced by AI. The problem is not this. The problem is the impact that AI will have on the entire economic system, and this impact will also hit musicians and composers. So the question is how musicians and composers, they can benefit from it instead of being wiped out by what is coming now. You know what happened now with ChatGPT? ChatGPT appear like this. It's like an atomic bomb that exploded. Nobody knows about it. I mean, few people, I'm talking about musicians.
Yeah,
they don't know.
The rest of the world knows about it.
Exactly. They know what happened. It's incredible. It's massive, the impact that will have on society and on the economic world, and this will hit everybody. The
job positions,
jobs, the prices. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah. But let's say that ChatGPT is not a so futuristic technology as as an AI, but is the first example of an AI software as a service for everybody. The fact that it is really scalable and is open sources for everybody, this is disruptive about ChatGPT, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In the AI like DALL-E and Midjourney for visual art too. There are a lot of artists having the same discussions about this.
Yeah,
It would be really interesting to combine musical concerts with DALL-E. So you in the same moment you perform or you compose or you improvise, the AI can create images
in the real time.
In the real time. This would be really interesting to do.
I had a friend do that at the Louisville Philharmonic Orchestra. He lives over at Edinburgh. They did something with holograms. It was a cello concerto, and AI composed part of it. And so there was a screen next to Eve, the cellist, and the AI portion of the symphony was performing. It was with electronics too. There was a holographic image of Eve playing the cello. It was really cool. It was really cool.
This is fantastic. I love this integration of motion tracking and volumetric capture with music. You know how you can combine in sounds and holograms. AI is something very visionary. I think it's something really that gives me a total vibe. It's so complete as a form of art, really.
Yeah,
our modern operas.
Yeah. Well, we are running out of time, guys. So it was so great to have you, Cristina. Thank you very much for joining us today. It was like so much information, and I think it's very valuable for our community and for ourselves as well. So we would like to have you many more times in the future. Then you have to know that Le Salon de la Musique is your home. You can come anytime, like you have some new projects, releases, and just post it on our platform, and we will be happy to inform the world about your creations.
Absolutely. And if we want to talk about something deeply, for example, we've been talking today about so many things. Maybe next time we can dive more into the creative process with the creation of NFTs, how we can combine practically, because now we're talking in general, and so maybe our friends can be overwhelmed by all these topics, and so I think definitely we must have another chat.
If you guys are interested, you go just to Cristina's website. There is a possibility to get a little brochure with the step-by-step guide how to create the NFT for a musician. So just check it out.
Yeah, and I update it occasionally, and I'll send the new one because it changes. But I can't believe our time went by so fast. It's been such a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
It was our pleasure, really. And here at Le Salon de la Musique, it's our mission to give voice to examples like you. Then we are honored to have you today, really. Thank you.
To bring classical music to the future, we need people like you.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you.
But before we close, there is a word from our sponsor.